Okay, let's talk with somebody who got a prize by going to B98FM.com, Christmas Wish. And thousands of people go on B98FM.com and say, look, I need a Christmas wish coming my way. Linda Kreitzer, who lives in Derby, is in the studio. Linda, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Good, thank you.
Now, I know you're a little nervous, so we'll just,
bit.
it's all good. Kareth and I are friends. We're friendly. So tell me the experience of what you did, why you did it, and what's going to happen. Give us the full story.
Oh my, the full story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why I did it is my daughter, Shelby.
Yeah.
She's 12 and she has a seizure disorder that we've been trying to get under control for a few years now and not very successfully.
How often is she having seizures? Is it a lot?
It's a lot. Here lately it's been daily. It's been more than daily. It just seems to kind of be snowballing where it used to be a few times a week just a couple months ago, and now if we have a day without seizure activity, it's a good day.
Really?
But yeah, it's snowballing pretty fast. And so
does that keep her out of school as well?
she has not attended school for over 3 weeks.
Really?
And so, and of course now they're at Christmas break, and so
Yeah.
she went from a child who used to beg me not to go to school, she hated school,
Yeah.
till now she wakes up begging me to go to school.
Oh.
That's how much she misses.
Yeah.
So I guess if this was supposed to make her love school,
Yeah.
successful, but it's been pretty rough. So she spends a lot of her time in bed. And she has, I don't know how rare it is, but it feels extremely rare. Her seizures, although she's got multiple different kinds, about 95% of her seizures are kind of come as severe stomach aches. And so she will be down with a severe stomach ache, and sometimes it lasts a few hours before we can finally get her calmed down and asleep. And then she sleeps the rest of the day, trying to sleep off the seizure.
Oh, right.
Oh my goodness.
And so she spends a lot of her time in bed or in tears because she's in pain.
Has this been going on since she was little or just recently?
Kind of all of the above.
Okay.
It all started when she was about 2.5. She had a seizure in the middle of the night that was what typically is called, or what I used to call, a grand mal seizure. I don't think they use that term anymore.
Yeah.
But we woke up in the middle of the night and she was seizing, rushed her to the hospital, but all the way to the hospital they couldn't get the seizure stopped. And so then we get to the ER and it's like 3 a.m. and they couldn't get it stopped. And ultimately she was seizing for a few hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and they finally, in my terms, kind of drugged her up enough that she just wasn't functioning anymore and she was out. And then she woke up, later that day, and the doctor at that time had said I had one job, was to keep her from seizing anymore, because they didn't know why she was seizing, and worse, they didn't know why they couldn't get it stopped.
That's frustrating. I think both for the parents and the doctors,
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah,
It
not
was-
knowing why is this happening. Yeah.
That goes down to date as the scariest day of my life.
Yeah.
But then they put her on a lot of drugs and she didn't seize for years, and then they took her off. And then when she was about in the 2nd, 3rd grade, she started getting these stomach aches out of the blue. And we didn't know what they were, and they'd kind of leave just as quick as they came, but they were severe, and nobody could tell us what was wrong with her or why she was getting these stomach aches. Then a few years ago in the 5th grade, she actually had a visual seizure, or what I would call a visual seizure, and that's when we took her to the neurologist again, and he informed us that the stomach aches were seizures all along. We just didn't realize it.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been dealing with different aspects of this since she was 2.
Yeah.
But here in the last 6 months, it just seems to be snowballing to where we just can't seem to get it controlled. And that kind of what led us here is a few weeks ago, she did a video EEG in the hospital. And after they got the results of all that, they told us that their recommendation was she had to go to the Cleveland Clinic and have brain surgery in hopes of, now they have to confirm all of that there and say that that's what they want to do. But our neurologist here says that ultimately there's a section of her brain that has damage or so forth, and they want to go in and cut that out. They believe that there's about a 70% chance that'll fix or at least improve the seizures. So that's what we're doing.
So as a mom, when you hear that kind of news, how many kids do you have? Is she the only?
I have three young ladies.
Okay.
Two of them twins are 21.
Okay.
And then she's my youngest.
So she's your youngest. So when they give you that kind of information, what goes through your mind as a mom?
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, we had a couple years ago, the neurologist had kind of laid out all the options, and that was kind of always worst case. And we just always, there was no way I was ever doing that. But we're at the point where nothing seems to be working, and she's not living. She spends all day in bed on
And
most
how old is
days.
she?
She's 12.
Yeah, when you're a 12-year-old, you want to be on your phone, you want to be Snapchatting and doing all that. She doesn't get to do a lot of stuff.
She spends a lot of her time in bed. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, there's a 12-year-old who's begging to go to school just because she wants to do something.
Yeah.
With her friends.
Yeah.
Before you discovered the seizures, did she spend a lot of time in the hospital checking every other option? You know, is it an ulcer? Did she have to go through a whole battery of tests before they figured it out?
No, I mean, they didn't do a lot with the stomach aches. They just said, there's not a lot they can do. It's just normal behavior, not normal, but it just happens to some kids. They get stomach aches.
Yeah.
And they weren't so severe at that time that it was overly concerning. They were just randomly, she'd get them. And so we just kind of moved on as if it wasn't that big of a deal, but...
Thinking maybe she'd grow out of it or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So take me to the point where this is going on, and then who tells you about the Christmas wish on B98, and what did you say in your letter to B98?
Nobody had told me about it. I was listening to the radio one day going home.
Yeah.
And it had come on, and I kind of thought, maybe I'm desperate enough. That's what I'll do, because I didn't know how we were going to come up with the money for the travels.
Yeah.
And originally, when I had heard, I was thinking we'll postpone it and we'll make the first trip maybe over spring break. That'll give me a few months to save the money.
Yeah, right.
And then maybe summer we'll do the second trip, and then her condition just the last few weeks has just been very crazy, and she has, like I said, hasn't even gone to school for 3 weeks. So it's been wearing on us, and I thought, I can't wait. I mean, I don't know how, but I can't wait on, my time.
Yeah, when it's your kid, you want things done. And I know a lot of people don't have $5,000 or $10,000 laying around. And so at that point, so you went to the B98 website.
I did. I went to the B98 website, and I thought, what do I got to lose? At this point, I'll just start signing up for everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't even put that much in. I just put, I want, one of the first flights paid for so that we can get it scheduled immediately.
So you talked about your daughter's condition on the...
Very briefly.
Yeah.
I just said she needed to go to the Cleveland Clinic to have surgery, and and then I need the money for the first flight, and this would at least get us started to get her there for the first trip, and that was all I put in there. And I kind of joked about it after I was telling my daughter about it, and I said, at this point I'm ready to start playing the lottery and hope something comes in. And we joked about it and didn't think anything of it after that. And then I got the call a few days later and was shocked.
Yeah?
I didn't think it really happens. So.
Yeah, so sometimes when you hear, Christmas wish, and then no one ever wins that, and then your phone actually rang, and there it is, you got your Christmas wish answered. So what exactly are you getting?
They have told me that they're going to pay for not just the first trip, but they're going to give us $4,000 so that we can pay for as many of the flights as possible.
So is that going to cover as many trips as she needs to get back and forth?
That I have no idea, because we don't know how many, but I do know it'll get the first few. It'll get us there, so it's exciting, because now I can just schedule it and worry about the rest later.
Well, I know our company, iHeart Radio, tries to help as many people as possible. And there's so many people that have different things, like in your situation, but different, to try to help, especially this time of year. So here it is, Christmas time, the time of giving. I mean, this seems like this isn't a present you can wrap and put under the tree.
This is probably the most amazing present I could have gotten because, again, not just one flight, but a few of the flights are going to be paid for, and so
You feel like I can get my daughter to get
Amazing.
fixed.
Yeah, you can focus on your daughter's her health and her well-being and put that energy there instead of worrying about how am I going to
Yes.
even just get us to the appointment.
Yes, and more importantly, I don't have to delay it because that was the worst feeling, is that I knew I had to delay it for me and not for her. And she just, although she's terrified of what's to come, I was able to tell her, we don't have to wait till summer like we had originally thought. We're going
Yeah.
to go as soon as they can get us scheduled. And so that was nice, that it wasn't me delaying her treatment.
Yeah.
And so that was best Christmas present ever.
Love it. Well, your Christmas wish has been answered. And you
much.
live in Derby, right?
Yes.
What do you do for a living?
I am the HR manager at Harlow Aerostructures.
Oh, cool.
They have been amazing through this all. I've worked there for a whole 4.5 months.
Wow.
And then I dropped this on them, and they have been, my supervisor has been the most amazing human being through all of this. I mean, he just continues to try to take the stress off because I seem to be taking off every day.
Yeah.
And he just has been wonderful. I mean, I believe there's a reason why I switched jobs
Wow.
just 4.5 months ago, and it was...
Our community somewhat, it's about Wichita. I've lived in a lot of cities. I've never seen anything like Wichita when it comes to the community and people understanding and helping. It's really touching to see that.
It's been amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody that knows of it has just been so kind, and in my daughter's school, the teachers have been so caring and have just gone above and beyond to help her because they know,
Yeah.
although she'd love to be there, she's always at home. And so even they have just, and I know they have so many students to take care of. They are just so caring and
Yeah.
attentive to her. So everybody has been wonderful.
I'm so grateful that you got your Christmas wish granted. I know that you're grateful for it, and I mean, you're just the fact that you're able to share your story with us, and I'll definitely keep up on your daughter's progress because
Thank you.
I'll be praying for her, we'll all be rooting for her, and I'm so grateful that you were able to get your Christmas wish granted.
Thank you. I cannot thank iHeart Radio enough. I mean, it truly best Christmas present I could have ever asked for,
Awesome.
and it's just great.
Well, thanks for sharing your story with us. It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.